I wish I can use Christmas music, but what are the odds of getting copy striked?
Unlike Plastic Disaster over here, I'm not afraid to use Christmas music. Happy holidays! I hope everyone is doing well. I know 2020 has been a weird time for everyone, but I'm here to spread Christmas cheer with another review. Well, hopefully anyways. Or you don't really care about any of that and you just want to see the kit that I'll be reviewing today. Either way, before I get into the kit, I have a story to tell. "'Tis was the night before Christmas, and TFG could not slumber. As hard as he tried, it was quite a bummer. But he did not care, for he was on a plane to Japan and Gunpla goodies awaited. There was so much to explore, he hoped to find something underrated. At last he arrived, with a glimmer in his eye. There was so much P-Bandai and exclusives, oh my. It was a Christmas miracle, cried TFG, for at last he spotted a kit that would make anyone shout with glee. That kit was the Master Grade Okawara Kunio Strike Freedom, as you can see. Now on to the review, for you, for me. I hope you enjoyed my little Christmas rhyme. I hope it brought you joy and didn't waste too much of your time. I'm just joking, but for real, that story was completely true, by the way. Well, except for the whole Christmas part. I actually ended up going over the summer. So yeah, 2 years ago, I actually went to Japan to celebrate finishing up high school, which is kind of crazy to think about seeing that I'm almost done with college. But while I was there, I decided to meet with a local who knew his way around a lot of the cool stores for collectibles and premium figures, including Gunpla. We eventually made our way to this small hidden store called Mandorake, and it was Gunpla heaven. It had everything I was looking for, which was rare Gunpla that I couldn't find in the States normally without paying a premium. It had plenty of P-Bandai, Expo exclusives, and more, but one kit caught my eye, which of course was this kit. I was merely drawn to it by its beautiful artwork, but enough talk. Let's take a look at the kit itself. While I'm not the biggest fan of the Strike Freedom color scheme, I absolutely love how this looks. The color scheme here, if I'm being honest, looks way better than the colors we see in the actual anime. The mix of the gray plastic with the dark navy blue and the lighter grayish blue looks so good, and the red does a really good job to break everything up and make it overall visually appealing and interesting without making it look too boring. What really makes this kit, however, is all the exclusive marking decals that come with it. It comes with a huge marking sheet with a lot of decals, and while I didn't apply all of them, I did apply all the important ones. These decals are directly inspired by the artwork of Kunio Okawara, which, if you don't know who he is the mechanical designer behind a lot of the famous Gundam designs, meaning he designed a lot of our favorite Gundams, including the Strike Freedom. This kit was sold as an exclusive at a Kunio Okawara art exhibit at the Ueno Royale Museum in Japan. Now I'm not sure how many of these were made, but from what I have heard and seen, it seems to be very limited. So moving on, while I love the color scheme, unfortunately since this is an older Master Grade, it does have some noticeable nub marks, and since it is a darker plastic, they stand out a bit more. But overall, this is a very striking kit, pun intended, and will definitely add stage presence on the shelf. Before I forget to mention, my kit is not perfect. I actually had this kit sitting in my closet for years before I finally decided to finish building it. So because it was sitting out for a bit, I somehow lost a runner which contained some smaller parts that added some smaller detail to the kit. So you may notice some things missing from my kit, but luckily it wasn't anything big, and it's mostly noticeable on the wings and weapons, which I'll be sure to point out. I also added a matte coat finish, which may or may not be noticeable. I mostly did it to help the decals stick a bit better, and I do think it overall enhances the whole look. Besides that, I did no further modification to this kit, so this is basically straight out the box. So anyways, let's get to the articulation. Since the wings do make the kit back heavy, I did decide to take them off for this segment. Now for articulation, there's really not much to be said here. It's pretty much what you would expect from a master grade out of the mid-2000s, so I'm not really going to spend too much time in this section. It has a full inner frame and it is very solid. The joints are nice and you get a nice range out of everything, but nothing really to write home about. One thing I did forget to mention is that on the right arm there is a dark navy blue plastic piece that goes on the arm guard. You might be able to see that it is missing on the right side while it is on the left side. It's not that big of a deal, but it is noticeable and it is supposed to be on both sides. It's just something I thought I would point out real fast. As for the hands, it does come with the old style master grade hands with the 3-finger trigger finger split, which I am really not a fan of. Oh, and of course the thumb does move separately as well. For the wing articulation, they decided to do something interesting. As you can see, the front and back wings move together, but you would also think that they're able to move separately from each other. But it seems like only the back wing can move separately while the front wing is stuck in place unless you move it at the same time with the back wing. So for the accessories, most of it is pretty standard, but it does come with one extremely cool accessory which I will save for the very end. So let's start with the boring stuff first. Here is the decal sheet I mentioned earlier. They are just regular stickers, unfortunately. They are not water slides or dry transfers, nor did this kit come with any of those. Next we'll take a look at the rifle. Again, nothing really to write home about. However, mine is missing some red detail near the scope and on the barrel of the gun. Unfortunately, I lost a red runner that contained those small parts, so they do look a little on the bland side. But honestly, I probably won't be displaying the kit with these rifles anyways, so I don't really mind. They can of course also be combined to form one bigger gun, as you can see here. And they can also be stored on the Gundam itself by moving the back skirt downwards and moving the side skirts to the back, which reveals some portholes to store the guns. They can of course also be held in the hand. If you look on the inside, you'll be able to see a small little tab sticking out. And basically what you have to do is match that tab up with a little slit on the handle of the gun and wrap the hands around it. He of course also comes with two beam sabers, as you saw earlier. Unfortunately I lost the two beams that came with them, but I was able to find one of my spare master grade beam saber beams lying around, so you'll see what it looks like with a beam attached. The two handles can also be combined for some dual blade action. Unfortunately, since I only have one of the beams with me, I can't really show that off. For storage, they can also be attached to the side skirt simply by plugging them in like so. Of course, they can also be held in the hand the same way as the rifle. The connection is nice and solid. Finally, we get to the last of his normal accessories, and that is this beautiful translucent beam shield. As you can see, it came in an individual package, and man, it just looks so beautiful. It has multiple shades of blue going throughout it, as you can see, and it really does give off this really nice energy effect, as you can see in the close-ups. It can also be stored on the arm very simply by pulling up on the red part of the arm guard and taking it off, which would reveal a little joint on the inside. Once you do that, you're going to lift up on the joint and take the beam shield and stick it through the little opening. And once you do that, you're going to want to reattach the red part and close it in, and that should fully secure the shield to the arm. Now before I talk about the wings and the final accessory, I do have to mention the base. There's really not much going on here, but you may notice that I did actually snap the little peg on the inside of the base connector that's supposed to help hold it in place. Connecting it to the Gundam is a very simple connection to the bottom part of the crotch. Even with the broken base connector, it can still support the Gundam. Now finally getting to the wings, there are a few gimmicks that should be mentioned. Now before I talk about those, there is one thing that I do want to point out. As you can see, the right side is actually missing a small gray plastic that is on the left side. Again, this is my fault for losing the part, but it isn't that much of a deal breaker for me. Now getting to the actual wings itself, as you can see that you can remove the blue binders. And once you take all them off, you can extend the wings like so. And with those extended, we can get to the coolest accessory that this kit comes with. Now getting into my favorite accessory, it comes with these really cool translucent wing effects that only come with this version of the kit. This is so you can recreate the beautiful art of Okawara Kunio shown on the box. Now actually putting them on can be a little tricky, and you have to be sure the effect parts are on the correct side for it to properly line up with the wings. But once you do get everything lined up, you get a beautiful looking display. We also came with these really cool Okawara Kunio logos, but I didn't really know what to do with them, so I just kind of left them on the sheet. So for my closing thoughts, this really is a one-of-a-kind kit. If you can find it, I would definitely say grab it. I'm a fan of unique kits such as this one, and with the cool color scheme and the effect parts, I really think this kit will be a showstopper. Now with the year coming to an end, I just really want to thank everyone for sticking with me. And this year, I gained 19 new subscribers and 6,927 views, which may not seem like much, but for me, that is a lot. So I just want to thank you guys so much for the support. I know 2020 has been a rough year for everyone, so I hope everyone stays safe and let's hope for better things in 2021. Cheers.